Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and boy, is it raining outside. It is raining so hard, we're under a flood warning. Although my house is near the top of the hill in the subdivision, so I'm not too concerned yet, but maybe I should pull out my non-existent boat to drive to work in the morning. Hopefully it's not going to rain that much. Anyways, let's see who we have here in the chat. We got Thomas Armstrong. Hi, Thomas. Thomas says battery juice. Yes, battery juice bad. Battery's good. Battery juice. Battery juice bad. We have Gut Bomb. Says battery juice is my favorite alternative juice. We have Sloopy Malibu. Hi, Sloopy. Hi, Jason. Yes, just in time. Yes, and I forgot to press the one thing, so you had a extended black screen. Sorry about that. Guess at least that's better than me forgetting to unmute. Gut Bomb asks, is that DVD screensaver thing new? It's a few months old at this point. Gut Bomb says it will just form a moat around your castle. Yes, anyways, I think we will get started with the computer, because one of the potential regrets is still in my mailbox because it was raining so hard after I got home from work. I didn't want to go out to the mailbox, so hopefully there'll be a moat around my mailbox to protect it from porch pirates. Or hopefully it won't be raining hard in the morning and I'll get it before I go to work. Anyways, let's take a look at this wonderful beige computer. It cost me $20 at the System Source Museum sale. It was one of their spare PCs they were selling off for prices between $5 and $30, and this one was $20. So was that other 386? Oh, wait. Oh, no, I've shown this before, so there is a reason to my potential slip of the tongue here. So we are going to do a slight exploration as we pull the components out. So we have here an FCC ID. I believe that is IV4 CPU 486. CHOICE7, made in the USA, CPU Research Incorporated, and apparently it complies with Part 15 of the FCC rules. Class B limits of Part 15 of the FCC rules. We have a multi-IO card, most certainly here, a modem, and a video card, along with an AT keyboard and a power supply. Case was made in Taiwan, as was a lot of cases. All right, and the front of the computer, there is no case badge, so at some point I will fix that. That is the blue dot that indicated that it was $20. And we have a lovely matching pair of, matching set of floppy drives. The 5 1/4 inch drive, along with the 3.5 inch drive. This was the tasteful, dark beige drives in a beige case. Probably almost tan. Anyways, there we go. Standard accoutrements for an AT desktop style case with key lock, which I don't have the key for, or I'm not sure I have the key for. A reset button, a turbo button, and a power button. No frequency display, but the nice set of drives is why I picked this up, and the $20 price, and the fact that this case looks fairly nice on the front. There are some scratches on the top. And that was thunder I just heard outside. So we just open this up, we will see that we have case somewhere where I will not knock it over and hurt on myself. There we go. So we have the floppy drive here, the floppy drive here. We have, I believe this is 4 megabytes of RAM. We do have cache memory, so that is good. We have 16-bit ISA slots, which is, for a 486, is not that great, but as you will see in a moment, this isn't just any 486. And I believe there is a hard drive tucked down in here. It is a Mac Store IDE drive. So, I guess probably what we should do before we pull this apart to remove the battery is let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and power it up, and we'll make sure it still works. Jesse says this might have been a Magitronic in its earlier life. Hi, Jesse. Welcome. You know, that is entirely possible. It would not surprise me. All right, so let's see here. We have monitor. We've got power. I've got a keyboard. That should be sufficient for testing. I just need to turn on the correct outlets on my smart outlet here. Let's see. I believe that one. Whoops. Oh. Oh, my smart outlet isn't responding, but it's turned on anyways. Probably means it's been on all week. All right, and let's go ahead and turn this on. And we've got the sounds of power. And we've got 4 megabytes of RAM. And we have boot. Despite the fact that I sure don't know how it remembered the BIOS settings. Unless this has an auto detect on its BIOS. That is always possible. There we go. And we have Norton antivirus scanning. Don't we feel safe already? I am not going to attempt to stop this because it's apparently not scanning much anyways. And we have Windows. And we have the Norton desktop. How quaint. Anyways, if anyone's curious, it looks like there are some financial softwares on the hard drive. You are not imagining things if you think that looks like those are Trident video card drivers, because they are. And it looks like that there's a game or two. Also looks like someone did some memory management, so good job. Well, hi, Sylvestron. Welcome. But anyways, the computer does work. And hopefully I will keep it that way in the process of removing the battery. I just wanted to make sure the computer was still working. So we will go through and remove the cards so I can get the motherboard out. And in that process, we'll take a look at what is in this system. Starting off with the video card. And by the way, I did not open this at the swap meet, so the fact it had a Trident card was just proof that the system was meant for me. And actually, you might have noticed in the capture, the Trident card looked decent. It looks better on my multi-sync monitor, but for Trident cards, it actually looked decent. Alright, so let's see if I can get the card out. Unfortunately, the one problem with these cards are they've been in here so long, they're kind of stuck. Also, the standoff in the corner of this motherboard is not helping. Actually, let me just spray some contact cleaner down the side of the slot. That'll hopefully break up any corrosion that's holding the card in. And let me get the other side of the card. Alright. Now, maybe I don't normally like to wiggle these side to side, but I needed to let the contact cleaner get down in the slot because it was somewhat stuck. But there we go. We have a Trident TVGA 8900CL-B, which I believe this has 1 megabyte of video memory, and it has the Samsung RAM DAC KDA0476BCN-66. So I don't know if that's a true color RAM DAC or a high color RAM DAC or just an 8-bit one. But maybe the fact it's a Samsung RAM DAC is why the video quality looks slightly better. Other than that, I believe this is just a JTON. Yep. Yep, that's a JTON card. Made in the US. JTON. Even though they don't have their brand on it. I'm pretty sure that part number JAX8232B/V1. I'm pretty sure that is the clue this is a JTON brand card. I think they made a lot of the Trident cards I find are in computers. Kind of would be interesting to know if their PCB manufacturing outfit. Well, first of all, I don't know if they made their own PCBs or if maybe they had the PCBs fabricated and they did pick and place. But it would be interested to know if their fab house and or pick and place house maybe has new owners and is still in operation, or if it's just a abandoned warehouse. All right. So the next thing we have is I believe this is oh, this might actually be a brand name modem. DK4. All right, well, I guess if I was curious, I could look up the FCC ID and see if it gave a manufacturer. Looks like it's just probably an OEM card using a Rockwell chipset. Not sure. Oh, I think it's a 14.4 modem. Because there's the RC144DP on the chipset. Oh, hi, Mega. Welcome. Mega says I have some Magitronic stuff, too. Always wondered who Magitronic was. Yeah, I've seen their brand name out there, and I'm not sure exactly who they were. Or maybe still are, because they might, with corporate acquisitions, you never know. They might still be out there, and possibly with a different name. All right, the next thing we have is think a generic I/O controller card. Which I will go ahead and remove the two serial headers, the floppy connection, and the hard drive. And I'm going to remember that, oh, pin 1 is clearly marked on the card. So all the gold star chips on this controller card would not surprise me if this is a... Oh, wait a minute. But there is a logo here that is not Gold Star's logo. Anyways, that is probably the logo of the company that actually made this card. And it looks like they were heavily into Gold Star chips because I think all the chips here, including this one that's got a sticker on it, I'm pretty sure that's a Gold Star. I think these are all Gold Star. I think the only non-Gold Star chips are the ones along the bottom and these two here. Mega says they just put their sticker on things. Jesse says they made mediocre computers. They're long gone. All right. So Magitronic is, yeah, just a memory in our minds as to having seen them. And we have Retrotech Chris. Hi, Chris. Chris says, all of those Gold Star chips. How lucky. Yeah, seriously. All right, so I'm pretty sure this motherboard is on the retro web, but just in case, I took a photo of the front panel connectors, which you can't see, so that just in case it's not well documented, or I just want to make it quick to reconnect, I can just look at my photo. All right, let's go ahead and get this motherboard out. I believe there are 2 or 3 screws holding it in. So we've got this one here. Oh, I do not like it when boards flex upwards when I unscrew them. I'm thinking that might be because the standoff started to come with the screw, so... Alright, we will see. Hopefully... Alright, there's also a screw on the front corner. And hopefully... I think the rest are plastic standoffs, but we'll see here in a moment. Oh, I think someone did tighten these screws down so tight the standoffs are coming out with the screws. Alright. I'm using a pair of needle nose pliers to hold the standoff that's in the front corner of the board so that I can get the screw out. That was thunder outside, if anyone heard that. It was quite close. Jesse says the local computer store in town sold them to schools. They were replaced by Noblists in the late 90s. Alright, let's see here. Will this motherboard slide out now, or is there still a screw somewhere holding it in? Ooh, feels like there's still a screw holding it in. Alright, let me get this. There's that. Oh. Alright, I'm looking for the mystery screw that's holding it in. Oh, I see what we're being bound up, or the standoff that I see what we're. Alright, I need to put this first screw back and try to screw the standoff back down. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to pull the motherboard out. Although, I'm not sure how I'm going to get the motherboard out if the standoff wants to come back up with the screw again. Unfortunately, the standoff is not. I don't think there's a way to get to the standoff. Yep, there's no way to get to the standoff from the bottom, and it's under the motherboard. Alright, I guess what I'm going to have to do, probably pull a little harder and... Oh, maybe I can actually get the nylon... No, alright, hold please. Yes, he says I had a Pentium era system missing its front. It took me a decade to find a replacement. Alright, let's see if I can get this screw back down. Anyways, there's our public enemy number one. Alright, let's see if I can get the standoff to go back down. Alright, now let me see if I can... Alright. There we go. Alright. So I used the screw to screw the standoff back down, and then I applied some firm and gentle pressure down on the motherboard around the standoff area where the standoff was, knowing that there's usually a ground ring on both sides of the motherboard, and that if I was going to scratch anything with the standoff, that I would hopefully be scratching a ground ring and nothing more important than that. Because I can always add more solder to the ground ring. Oh, and it looks like it was actually solder masked, and I didn't scratch anything. So, excellent. But yeah, this standoff had come out too far for the board to be able to slide. I was going to risk scratching if I tried to pull it, but I think it was stuck. So there we go. Here is the motherboard, and actually, I think this one's in even better shape than the first one. Jesse says, before Magitronic, they sold a brand called Auva, and I know entirely too much about this obscure brand. Yeah, careful, you'll become a Magitronic and Auva expert in the retro community, although I guess if that entails telling people to don't buy it, you'll regret it, then maybe that's a good thing to be known as an expert for. Oh, interestingly enough, this other standout off There we go. All right, let me put it back. So there we go. Oh, actually, speaking of Magitronic, maybe this was a Magitronic, or at least it had a Magitronic power supply. Maybe Magitronic was the OEM for parts of it. I do like the case. It's a rather nice case. 3 5.25-inch drive bays, a 3.5-inch drive bay external. It has the rails from front to back to stiffen the case. Decent case construction. I mean, it's a low-cost case, but at least it doesn't feel like there's any obvious sharp corners on it. So at least some care was made about it. So there we go. All right, let's set the rest of the case down. Let's take a look at this motherboard. Let's see if we can get this battery off. And it looks like I'm going to need to replace the keyboard connector. But I don't know. I'll need to do much else. Anyways, so this is not a 486 system, but it is a 486 system. This is definitely the original processor, Cyrix CX 486 DLC at 33 megahertz. And we have a Mathco DX from ULSI Systems, 33 megahertz engraved there. So that's pretty cool. The motherboard does have a mystery substance there. And I can wipe the mystery substance up with the Q-tip that I found on the workbench and the isopropyl alcohol that I spilled out onto the bench because I knocked over my dispenser. Oh, that is actually, I think, the remains of another sticker that used to be there. Yeah. I think there used to be a sticker there. I think there's still a little bit of adhesive left. But it does appear... Alright, I think we'll just leave that there. I don't think it'll cause any harm. Chris says, oh dear. We have newer ham radio Elmer. Hi, Elmer. I am all about HF radio, but even more no power, no radio. All right, so there's that darn battery. Ron says, thank goodness that warranty sticker is intact. Hi, Ron. Yeah, that warranty sticker is intact. That would be a shame if the warranty on my Cyrix processor was null and void. Yeah, it's a GP battery. And you know what I do with GP batteries? Same thing I do with Varda batteries. Actually, I am curious before I cut it off the board. I am curious because this thing acted like it remembered its CMOS settings. Oh, believe me, what I'm about to do is not going to spare the battery for much longer. This is only a temporary reprieve. Jesse says, Magitronic did, in fact, use those warranty stickers. Alright, so we got the... Wow, look at that. 2.532 volts. No wonder we still had CMOS settings. It's low, but 2.5 volts is usually still enough to hold the contents of the CMOS. All right, but the real-time clock battery is definitely doing something because the keyboard connector is kind of corroded. So, tell you what I'm going to do. And this is partly because I have the replacement parts to do it. I'm going to desolder the battery and the keyboard connector. We'll take a better look underneath it. And then we will probably just put an entirely new keyboard connector on. Here we go. So I'm actually not going to use anything fancy to remove these, because I don't think I need anything fancy. I'm going to just try some desoldering braid. Alright, this is the battery. Yeah, the solder is just coming off. I think this battery may have only recently started to leak. Oh yeah, this was a good. So it looks like this end of the battery has a little bit of crusties on it. Yeah, the battery's off the board now. I didn't even need to add any new solder. It just came right off the board. The keyboard connector is also not giving a fight, so I think that pretty much confirms that either the battery only very recently started to slightly off gas, or the corrosion on the keyboard port was not caused by the battery. So we'll oh, weather alert on my phone. Let me see what the weather alert says. Oh, a flash flood emergency is in effect for this area till 12:45 a.m. Well, I am near the top of a hill, so I am not worried at the moment. Ah, Chris says we have a flash flood warning too. Yeah, I know exactly what parts of the county that warning is probably actually for, and kind of one of those. Of course, I will be I will be aware, but I am not worried about. Oh, this keyboard connector is stuck. Yeah, yeah. I've always liked this PCB color scheme too, Sylvestron. It's like, yeah, definitely one they don't use nowadays. we go. All right, I'm having trouble getting the keyboard connector off, so I am adding some fresh solder. I honestly thought I smelled vinegar on my fingers, so I think someone might have tried to neutralize some corrosion. Sylvestron says, hate that modern fabs won't provide anything close to similar. Just give me bare copper with a clear coat. I don't want purple or full color images, dang it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously, I mean, that is pretty much what this is just a clear coat solder mask. Because the green is the color of the fiberglass, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to need a lot more heat for these pads. Yeah. All right, well, I got a way to deal with that. All right, I'm going to preheat the area around the keyboard connector. Fortunately, I think this is just an area of a big, thick solder plane under the keyboard connector. I do have spare connectors. All right, let's see if that's enough extra heat. All right. All right, I can definitely tell you the board is pretty toasty. I still have to add some more heat around the shield of the keyboard connector. I think that's where if there really is corrosion around the keyboard connector, it looks like there might be a little bit. I think it's the worst right at where the shield is on the keyboard connector. All right. Okay. I think given that I just knocked a screw off the bench. All right. We'll use a little low melt solder. because this can also help get these parts off when there's a large ground plane around it. Oh yeah, now I think I got the keyboard connector loose. There we go. Got the keyboard connector out. Now, let me get the low melt solder up. Should wick right away. Yep. May have to add some more heat to the board. All right. Take a look at the board on the... Oh, that's actually not too bad at all. All right, let me see if I can get any more of this low melt solder up. Looks like the pads on the top of the keyboard connector look good. I think the vias are still there. I'll be getting some of this, getting the rest of this low melt out of the shield connector. I'm going to have to, let me add some more heat to the board to preheat it. I get the temperature up a little more around this area, and then hopefully I can get the rest of the low melt out. And then I don't think I'm going to have to do any trace repairs or even any investigation on this board. I think all I need to do is replace the keyboard connector. Which I certainly can't complain about that. That's all I got to replace. And that's really only to make sure I take care of the corrosion problem. use a little more low melt solder to try to having a little problem clearing these vias here. This is going to be the point where that keyboard connector was the most corroded. Huh. Okay, this is weird. All right, there is so much. I'm gonna bump the heat up on my soldering iron. I need a little more heat here. Well, hold please. I don't remember how to. Okay, the one thing I don't like about the FX951 station is it is not obviously apparent how you change the temperature. It's one of those that has the little key card lockout system. And yes, I've got the key card in, but fine. I'll use Claris. Oh, I'm going to have to turn Claris's power on. Or maybe hot air and soldering? I don't know. I am literally. I need flux. That's the reason why I can't wick this. Oh, maybe I did need some flux to bust through the oxidation. That might have been the problem. My wick has flux in it, but apparently I needed some more flux. There we go. Now those are clear. All right, I guess I can maybe take another pass at these just to make sure they're clear too. Use some flux. All right, there we go. Yep, got his Sunblade 1000 up and running. Cool. Jesse says PCBs are like cars. They were more interesting 20 years ago. Hey, Dave, welcome. All right, so I got the old keyboard connector off. Now let me, I guess, clean some flux off the board. And while I'm cleaning this, I don't see any signs of corrosion under the solder mask. So I'm not going to have any UV cure time. Nepon wants to get us. Oh, second CPU for it. Oh, so you do have a. I thought you were talking about your little Ultra Spark. You actually do have a Sunblade. Cool. Want to get a second CPU for it. I wonder if they are pricey. I should try to. I got my SGI Octane. I need to get that running. But I also have an SGI Origin 350. I should probably try to get that running too. Although I'm not as that one doesn't excite me as much because it has no graphics card. So I think it was really designed as a command line interface operated server. Says I'd rather be playing with SGI machines. There's a lot more desktop applications for SGI. Yes, the SGI workstations though are like way more expensive. The only reason I have the Octane is because I got for a really good deal from Ian, who's one of the VCF East volunteers. The SGI Origin was saved from scrap. All right, full contact cleaner, mainly to just make sure everything's nice and clean before I put that new keyboard connector on. But yeah, there is like no corrosion on this board, so that battery, wherever it went to, oh, that's the keyboard connector from Thursday. So about the only damage I have seen is this keyboard connector, and it looks like there is some corrosion on it. Never mind the solder blobs, that's from the low melt solder. And there is some corrosion on the pins on the back. has a weird smell to it, but it's not vinegar. It does smell like someone might have tried to clean it. So that's like the only damage I see is the keyboard connector. Fortunately, I ordered several spares from Mauser. So I believe, yep, this board uses a 10 millimeter shield spacing. I'm not going to do anything about the battery, because this board has a external battery connector. That's how I'll power the CMOS going forward. Anyways, there we go. Brand new keyboard connector. Ordered it new from Mauser, and it just fits. In fact, this board's actually one of the nice ones because there's multiple shield connectors. All right, so what I'm trying to do is raise this board up just enough let's see if I can't. Just trying to tack it in at the moment. All right, that was just enough solder to tack it. I'm probably actually going to have to add some flux, but there we go. All right, so the shield is all right. Right, there we go. There's the rear pins. I think they're all soldered. All right, now to try to get the shield pins to hold the iron here for. There we go. All right, I think I'm going to clean that up just a little bit. Maybe add a little extra heat to the board. Aid with this. Add some flux as well. I'm just going to try to reflow the pins without adding more solder because I got plenty of solder here. All right, that looks good. I think that port is nice and secure now. All right. Clean that flux off and see if I can't clean the board off a little more where it's dusty, and then we'll start to put the computer back together. So the other computer I got from the System Source Museum, Sahel, took 2 live streams to fix, and I still haven't reassembled it. This one looks like I'll have it back together in one. Still not my best soldering job on the shield connector, but it's because I think it's because the pad's so big. That, yeah, Sylvester says not bad at all. The Gupbomb says $40 for 750 megahertz Ultra Spark 3. Sylvester says not bad at all. Ah, that was chat related. Yeah, that doesn't sound bad at all for that processor. All right. There we go. There's that. Spray some contact cleaner in the port. Make sure I didn't get any flux in the port while soldering. And spray a little on the backside of the board. Kind of help the isopropyl flash off faster. All right. Let me set this aside to the moment. We'll let the isopropyl dry for a moment, and then we will see if we can't dust the board. Well, I'm going to put the system back together. I might as well at least get some of the dust off the motherboard. Also, we'll take a slightly closer look at this motherboard, because actually, it's only 1012. I think that warrants at least a little bit of investigation as to whether there's a Mr. BIOS available for this board or not. Because everybody loves Mr. BIOS. Oh, maybe not everyone. I'm sure there's someone that's like the original BIOS with all its awful limitations or nothing. I'm of the opinion of, well, you could have bought it back in the day, so it's fair game. Back when you had to pay for a firmware update for your motherboard, and it was a third-party update. There we go. That's okay. That doesn't look too bad. All right, so we have a Chips and Technologies chipset, and it is a. Oh yeah, actually, I'm gonna zoom in on this. I just realized now that I got the new keyboard connector on, and I cleaned it up. I mean, look at that. That's where the battery was. But I think there might be the ever so slightest hint of something there, but those components even look good. Actually, I guess maybe I will, just to make sure, pull the keyboard controller. Just to make sure. Oh, yeah, there's absolutely, yeah, absolutely nothing there. Nothing under there. Okay. Yeah, we really did get this board at an opportune time to clean it up. All right, so back to where my original train of thought. So looks like we have the F82C 351. 351, 355, 356. All right, so it's a three chip combo. We'll pull the motherboard manual up on the retro web as well. Check to see if it, just to make sure it can't take more cache. It probably has the maximum cache in it. All right, so let's pull open the. Okay, I'm gonna pull the Mr. BIOS spreadsheet up on my phone. Actually, I think I might have already tried to look this up. All right. Yep. Oh, what do you know? I've got the chips and technologies list here. 82C. $351, $355, $356 Rev B1. Oh yeah, it looks like this is Rev B1. All right. There is one. Actually, I think there's three. V051B420. So 420. 28 and 29. All right. Okay. Let me go find the Mr. BIOS. I think I've got it downloaded already. This makes it quicker for me to search. All right, let me sort my downloads by name. Let me. Group by none. All right. Hold, please. I'm looking for the folder. I have micro Linux apparently. PCXT BIOS. Hmm. Oh, maybe I don't have it downloaded. All right, hold please. Oh, maybe I don't. All right. Oh, I guess I don't have it downloaded. That's weird. All right, I guess I'll let me go to Vogons and download it. I should thought I already had it downloaded. 'Cause I'm always checking to see if there's a Mr. BIOS for things. What's the file name? Oh, it's called Mr. BIOS.zip. All right. Oh, maybe I have it and I just don't have it expanded. That might be it. Oh, there it is. Mr. BIOS.zip. What do you know? Fractal. All right. Jesse says, this goes beyond my training as a furniture salesman. I mean, Magitronic knowledge. All right, while we wait for that to extract, let's go to the retro web and see if we can't identify this board. So it has, let's see here, six ISA slots, 16-bit ISA slots, and eight or six 16-bit slots and two 8-bit slots. And the chipset is going to be a chips 82C 82C, what was it 351 that is going to they do have this board, and looking at the photos, I believe this is. Right, there's one or two boards that it looks like. This is either the Abit ABFU3 or the Rectron 386DX33 Peak DM. All right. Are there any clues on this board? I mean, it certainly looks like an Abit motherboard because it's got the coloring. It's made in Taiwan. So nothing really to say it's one or the other. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a part. There's a sticker on the front corner here. And I think I'm going to say this is the Abit motherboard. Because the sticker has some of the same letters in it. Oh yeah, I think this is the 8-bit motherboard. Oh yeah, the RetroWebs picture, the sticker in the corner, like this one here. It's got the 8-bit motherboard has a sticker in the same place on their photo. I think the Rectron board may be based on the 8-bit board, but it actually is missing some parts that are on the 8-bit board. And it also has a serial number label where this one does not. So, yeah, I think this is the 8-bit board. So there are two BIOSes archived. There is a jumper manual archived. And we'll see if there's a Mr. BIOS. Okay. So this board does support up to 256K of cache. And looking at the cache configuration jumpers, actually, I think it has 64K of cache as I'm looking at the memory chips. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the tag RAM modules needed to go to 256K. But maybe we can try 128K. Because the 128K takes a 32K by 8-bit tag RAM here, but the 256K would need 64K by 4-bit tag RAMs in these two sockets, and I do not believe I have any 64K by 4-bit, although I just dawned on me I did buy some weird chips a couple months ago, but we'll see. Let me see if I can find a Mr. BIOS first, because Mr. BIOS might give us some very nice upgrades. Oh, here they are. So I did the 3 files that the spreadsheet says are in the archive are here. Now, the only thing is, I looked at the spreadsheet and I can't tell from the spreadsheet, they look like they might be the same. Yeah, I don't know. All right. I think since there are a couple of Mr. BIOSes that I can try, and given the fact the BIOS would be under the power supply, let's see if I can find the power supply I use for testing boards. Let me see if I can find something to put this board on, and let me see if I can find my 27C512s. And let's try a couple Mr. BIOS images. Retrotech Chris will be interested to know the results. He's always finding Mr. BIOSes for the boards he runs across. Where they're available, that is. Alright, let me find the EEPROMs. That is the most important part of this. Alright, please. Still trying to find the tube that says 27C512. There it is. Found it. I got plenty of 27C512. Even if I manage to find a few that aren't actually blank or that don't actually take a program. I have plenty. Alright, grab the power supply so that I don't have to put this thing back together to try Mr. BIOS images. And I think that might be everything I need for this activity. Oh, I was going to see if I could find those 20 diagram kits real quick. As well as my cache kit of the correct size. And we'll make our little cache kit. How about let's just try the Mr. BIOS first. We'll go from there. All right. There are 3 potential images. Hi, Callan. Welcome. So there are 3 potential Mr. BIOS images for this board, or I probably should say for this chipset. I don't know what the exact differences are because the spreadsheet does not really say. But there is probably one that will work. There may be one that works fantastically. Maybe they all 3 work fantastically. But it is quite possible that 1 or 2 of them may have compatibility issues. But anyways, we will take the original BIOS chip. I will set it to the side where I will not lose it. And I'm looking in my tube of chips here. Because I think for a 386 board, I'm probably fine to use I think 150 nanoseconds is probably fine for a BIOS chip for a 386. It's going to cache it anyways. The main thing is I wanted to grab a brand that I have a couple of, just that I don't have to keep changing the chip model if I run into a few duds. So this is a 27C512. It is an ST M27C512. It is a DIP 28. I am going to load the Mr. BIOS. I'm going to start with the one that is version... Oh, wait, there is a doc file. Hold on. Let me open up the doc file, and let's see if that gives any additional information on the files. Okay, so 420 is for the Peak DM Rev B1 chipset without chipset turbo. .428 is CL minus and 429 is CL plus. 429 is also marked as eval board. All right. So I'm trying to look at what the CL minus and CL plus mean. That's for the 8042 turbo LED control. All right. I think I've got the correct keyboard controller. Because it says Mr. BIOS 8042 or AMI KF keyboard controller. Yes, I believe I do have a KF. I think that is version F. Okay. All right, so CL minus means that the turbo LED... the function is cache LED. Active state is low. Used mainly with 486. Cache state indicates turbo. Okay. Okay. So I think actually the first one I want to try is 428. because that is going to be the one that's not marked eval board. And that would mean when the turbo LED is off, or turbo is, I guess, active state low, then I believe I will have cache. And if I turn turbo on, that will deactivate the cache. Which actually for these boards is a common way of deturboing the board. Okay. I think that... Alright, so let me verify the EEPROM. Well, let me blank check the EEPROM. And let me program. Alright, so program 1. For these EEPROMs, I usually program them 3 times, just to make sure the bits are set. So, why would I want to use a Mr. BIOS? Well, easy. It adds extra functionality. Like, it will probably let me use larger hard drives than the native BIOS for this board. Which right there, that's a reason enough to use a Mr. BIOS, if you ask me. Okay, programmed it once. Let me program it a second time. I'm getting things ready to test. Oh, that's not one. All right. And actually, I think twice is probably good for this EEPROM. All right. And it verified. So, Mr. BIOS 428. That's like the last 3 digits in the part number. I guess for anyone following along, I'll put the... Capcom says they post really fast too. Anyways, so for anyone curious which one I'm trying first, it is that one. That is one of the... That is like the folder name it's in. Because I think that's the Mr. BIOS, like... That would be their part number for the BIOS. I know, it... V051B428 just rolls off the tongue. All right. I guess this is a combination keyboard port fix Mr. BIOS test in 3, 2, 1. There we go. There's our Trident VGA. Oh, real-time clock battery is discharged. Press any key to continue. Oh, that's good. It sees the 486 DLC CPU at 33.3 megahertz. And there we go. Hi, Francois. Welcome. And there you go. There's the tech specs. Clock. Actually, this let's see here. It is 05132025. I think another benefit of Mr. BIOS is it's Y2K compliant. So it is 10:43. We'll leave that PM. Daylight savings enable. What do you know? Francois says, "Oh no, why am I not sleeping?" Keyboard, num state at boot up. Well, obviously, oh, we want that on. Boot sequence. Cache enable, system cache enable. 64K. Control Alt minus disable cache. Control Alt plus enable cache. Yeah, there we go. Shadow. DMA. Chipset. Oh wow, look at that. It even knows it's 80 nanosecond RAM. That's cool. AT bus clock. I wonder if we can overclock that with this computer. F10 to record and exit. Why not? Oh, no boot device configured. Well, that would be a problem. Ha! Yeah, they warm boot really, really fast. I guess I should, this might actually be the correct Mr. BIOS. Maybe I should put a piece of tape over the window before I break the internet. There we go. You can't see it, but I just put a little piece of tape over the window of the BIOS chip. There, I will not break the internet tonight. All right, let's let's put the IO controller back in. And let's put my compact flash card adapter in, which should be on my bench here somewhere close. And we'll run some benchmarks. And we'll see if the system is performing as awesomely as I hope. Also, it will go to show that the Mr. BIOS should support this 2 gigabyte flash card without any trouble at all. Alright, here's some power. And let's see here, I got an IDE cable here. This IDE cable does not have a pin. This IDE cable is totally unnecessarily overkill for this IO controller because it is a ATA 133 cable. That should pose no problem for the controller. All right. Escape for setup. Oh, it detected my controller card. Look at that. It sees COM1, COM2, and parallel port 1. That's cool. All right. Oh, I must have powered this down short enough that it remembered the clock. There usually is a capacitor on the real-time clock to let you change the battery. So, not surprised. Let's see here. So, if we type a question mark in, it will auto set up my compact flash card. Excellent. Boot sequence. Yep, that looks good. How about let's F10 to save and continue. And there we go. Very nice. And actually, one thing I like about Mr. BIOS is if I hit Control Delete, so we will get the video card banner. But notice it completely skipped a bunch of the stuff it only does on cold boot. So yeah, Mr. BIOS warm boots really fast. So So, I guess the first thing we are going to do, let's do a CPU check, check CPU. All right, 37.8 megahertz. I think the Cyrix does give that check CPU a little bit of trouble. Let's do a cache check. Whoop, we are in V86 mode. I should probably... All right. Let's restart. This won't take much, and then I'm going to skip my startup files. And let's try that again. Cache check. There we go. It's not complaining about that we're in V86 mode. The Cyrix processor does have a kilobyte of cache in it, but quite honestly, well, it might actually be disabled. All right, let's see if maybe hardware info... Mainboard info cannot... Oh, well, that's weird. Okay, apparently this program really doesn't like Mr. BIOS or something. All right, well, I'm going to have to use the reset, hardware reset there. Oh, I lost one of the COM ports. That's interesting. All right, let's run some benchmarks. So we'll start at the top. We'll run Superscape. This is for slower PCs, because this is a 386. So I believe, yep. You can see we have the famous Trident video card jailbarring going on at this weird resolution that Superscape runs at. The weird resolution of, I believe, 320 by 240. It wouldn't be a Trident card if the video output wasn't crummy somewhere. We have a whopping 17.2 frames per second. Good night, Francois. Hopefully, Francois doesn't dream about floating PCs and bouncing howls. All right, we will run PC player benchmark. We are not going to suffer through Chris's 3D benchmark. We'll run this at 320 by 200. Oh, 320 by 200 is the weird resolution, not 320 by 240. Again, those wonderful Trident video card jail bars. Although at 640 by 480, this card doesn't look half bad, and text resolutions aren't half bad either. All right, we have a player bench of 5.3. All right, let's run Doom for slower PCs. You played Doom at this size screen so that you could play Doom, well, raise your hand in the chat. And more power to you, because that's really not that big of a screen. It makes the enemies look like a pixel or two from a distance. Yeah. We'll run the Doom benchmark at the higher resolution, because why not? This system's going to melt. We'll make it melt. Actually, we'll put the original BIOS in and maybe we'll run those benchmarks. 2579 real ticks for that size. Oh, I need to update this SD card with the new version of DOS Bench. All right, this one will give us give me a moment to enjoy some water. There we go. Oh, actually, while this benchmark runs, that will give me the opportunity to search for the cache I was looking for. Actually, we may have something else to try too. Oh, those are gal chips. Okay. Oh, those are video memory chips. I'll finish first. My SRAM search or the benchmark. Oh, there's a memory chip 4115. Something to help me here. Those are more gal chips. Yep, those are lattice gal chips. Those are some zip chips. Those are four modern video card RAM chips. Mm, wait, let me search my eBay purchase history. Oh, hi, Jean Francois. Welcome. Not quite a slideshow, but definitely bullet time. Yeah, seriously. Oh, are these parody? Oh, they are. Excellent. All right, let me check my eBay purchase history. All right, 2134 game ticks and 10,605 real ticks. Yeah, that was blazing fast. All right, no sense of us running Doom or Quake. I mean, landmark speed test. Okay, not the most useless benchmark on a 386. Well, it's a 486 DLC. Um, top bench. Okay, that is still a useless benchmark. Speed sys. All right, cannot allocate 4 MB of memory. Well, all right. Eight 8.62. Slightly faster than a 386 DX40. Fantastic. This will run check CPU. All right, it does say the internal L1 cache is enabled. And cache check. Cache check is just not able to see it. All right. Still looking in my eBay purchase history for those cache chips to see what they were. Fortunately, I don't remember what they were listed as. I'm just scrolling my history, which is slower than searching it. I think I'm about to where I bought them. Oh, they are the type I would need to do 256K of cache. Ah, and the seller still has some if I can't find them. Excellent. All right, if I can find them, we will upgrade the L2 cache. John Francois is asking, is it one of those Cyrix CPUs that needs the internal cache enabled with the utility? I thought Mr. BIOS was doing that for me because I did. There we go. Where was it? Cache. Control Alt plus enable cache. All right, let's do this. Oops. All right, so let's do Control Alt minus, and we'll run cache check. So cache should be disabled. Cache is definitely disabled. All right. Now if I hit Control Alt plus and run cache check again, I mean, it is possible I need to run the utility. Maybe the Mr. BIOS isn't actually enabling the Cyrix cache. It could also be that it's just not really helping much. I'm not going to worry about it too much. But let's try this though. Let's let's put the original BIOS back in and we'll see what we're gaining or losing with Mr. BIOS. So put our original AMI BIOS chip back in. Turn the computer on. All right, checksum failure. Let's auto configuration with BIOS defaults. That looks good. Standard CMOS setup. Does not surprise me that the clock remained because that's set in the same place. Let's see here. User type. I think this compact flash card is. Oh, wait. That's right. I think this has an auto detect. Oh, no hard disk installed. It's. Hold, please. I'm going to have to pull the card. Oh, I don't have the geometry written on the card. That doesn't help. All right. It's. I want to say it's like 1600 something, 1663. Let me see if I've got another 2 GB card. A lot of the times I'll write the geometry. Oh, no, it's going to be, hold on. $30, 39.72, 1663. I suspect this BIOS is not going to like the size. Calculated the correct size. That's promising, but then again, a lot of the BIOSes would actually calculate it correctly and then not use it correctly. All right, external cache is enabled. I don't see in this BIOS internal cache. So, all right, we'll just leave all that the same. Let's write to CMOS and exit. Actually, I should have. Let me skip the startup files. There we go. All right, so let's run cache check again. Ah, Mr. BIOS might be faster. All right, that one's just not seeing the cache, 1K level 1 cache here either. I may have to dig up that utility. All right, let's run some of these benchmarks again and see if the AMI BIOS is. Oh, I had the graphics card overclocked on the Mr. BIOS. Partly because Mr. BIOS made it easy. .6. Seemingly want to say that slower. All right, let me go into the BIOS. Let me change the ISA bus clock speed. Well, assuming that I can get into the BIOS by hitting delete. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, fine. It's giving me such a short window on warm boot. There we go. There we go. I think it's under advanced chipset. There we go. It is. Hmm. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Clock 2 divided by 3. That should be running the ISA bus at the same speed as I did in just Mr. BIOS. Not every ISA card can run 11 at 11 megahertz, but I was fairly sure that the two in this computer could. don't think I would push my luck any further, though. There we go, 14.7. I think that was very similar to the Mr. Bios benchmark result. All right, let me see if I can find this cache. I remember what I did with them. All right, they should be in this box somewhere. Theoretically. Oh, there's some cache chips in a box. Maybe they're in. Maybe I'll put them in here with these. Nope. These are 8K cache chips. All right. I might have better luck finding the Cyrix cache enable utility and copying it to my SD or compact flash card than finding the two cache chips I bought off eBay and don't remember how the seller packaged them for me to take a guess as to where in this box they fell to. That is assuming I even. Let me go. I bought them for a project. I bought them in error. think. Maybe I still put them with the computer that I thought they would be for, but all right. All this runs. Oh, the benchmark's done. All right. Guess that'll end my search for those cache chips. They're in the top of this box here. Oh, wait. I've got two here. Oh, I think those are all stems. Okay. Not going to be in there. All right. I guess I. Okay. I guess I probably put those SRAMs in with a bunch of other SRAMs that I also don't see. 1013 340 real ticks. Wow, that's actually worse than with the Mr. BIOS. I think I'm going to leave Mr. BIOS in here. I think Mr. BIOS was running really nicely. Although I would like to know if hardware info works on this board with an AMI BIOS. Nope, guess not. All right, so I think we will leave the Mr. BIOS in this board because I think it's running better with Mr. BIOS. Excellent. Chris, if you're lurking, we have another successful Mr. BIOS upgrade here. All right, let me see if I can find my smaller cache chips because maybe we can at least go for a more modest cache upgrade. All right, somewhere. Not them. somewhere I have some cache chips. Although maybe I used them all. I don't remember using them all. That's the weird thing. Back. Seems like I keep putting them back in the tube because I find some reason to not use them. All right. Or I've got a tube of cache chips. Let me see if I can. Nope, those are the 512. So those are too big. Let me look at the jumper settings again. Yeah, I need 839. I need 532 by 8. That'll give me 128. That I think I can do if I can find the. Wait, may not be looking for cubic chips. May be looking for chips on an anti-static foam piece. That's probably that. That I think is what I'm looking for. That's why I can't find cache chips. I'm looking for the wrong thing. Nope. Okay, that is just weird. I don't know what I did with those chips. Oh, unless they're sitting with my EPROMs. That is actually a possibility. 32K cash chips. All right. One more thing for me to find next time I try to organize the basement. Oh, it's 11:30. Hmm. I'm just taking one more peek, and I don't see the cash chips. All right. I also don't see the piece of anti-static foam that I thought had a bunch of chips on it. Putting some cash Oh, please. I see my anti-static foam of chips. I put it in an anti-static bag. That part I remember. Nope, all right. Yeah, I don't know what I did with my most useful cash chips. Now it's gonna bug me. All right. Well, is there anything else? All right. Here's one thing I'm going to do while I have this computer out. Let me go to eBay. And I'm gonna go look for those cash chips. The 64K by 4 ones. Oh, that's convenient. Just saw that I was watching a keyboard for a computer, and looks like the seller dropped the price and it sold. Because I kind of thought they were charging too much for it. But I have a computer with a keyboard that's missing keys, so buying a whole new keyboard was one possible solution. Yeah, these cash chips are the wrong. I think they're the wrong timing, anyways, for a 386 board. Oh, they're 25 nanoseconds. I think I need 20 nanoseconds. All right. Well, actually, some of the cache chips I was looking for, even if I found them, I think they're too slow. Okay. Well, if I can find my 32K by 8 chips, then we can try that cache upgrade another day, I guess. Oh, hi, Joe, and good night, Joe. I am looking for cache chips that have run away. I guess you could say I have no cache at the moment. At least no cache to upgrade this board. Found a whole bunch of the wrong size in this box here. They're no bigger than what's already on the board. That's not a very impressive upgrade. And they're MT brand. Although maybe they're new enough that they're actually decent MT, but they're no bigger than what I have. Oh, hi, SadMac356. Welcome. That was terrible. Oh, you know what we could do? Okay, so I can't find the cache chips. So I can't upgrade the cache on this board tonight. But what I can do is I can take these 1 megabyte sims out. Oh, and actually they were 70 nanoseconds. And I've got these 4 megabyte modules. So how about let's stick, I don't know, 4 of them in. More memory by IBM. Or more memory from IBM. I'm pretty sure these sims will not know that they're not in an IBM system. Alright, there we go. Everyone says more RAM is better. So is 4 times the amount of RAM 4 times better? Alright, it kept the clock. That's good. Alright. Oh, I don't have a floppy drive connected. Fixed disk. There we go. Port security, cache, shadow, DMA, chipset. Actually, these are 70 nanoseconds memory. And we'll go ahead and overclock the ISA bus a little bit again. And let's save and exit. Okay, it does look like DOS sees all 16. I'm going to skip boot files so we can run some benchmarks. Oh, and I forgot to change the capture input, so you didn't see me reset up the BIOS. All right, let's run cache check again. Now that we have more memory, maybe it might give us some better insight. All right, Mr. BIOS does look faster, a little bit faster for memory access. Or maybe it just set the cache up better in the chipset. That is always a distinct possibility that maybe Mr. BIOS set the chipset up better than the original BIOS. Maybe the Mr. BIOS defaults are what you would have to go manually optimize in the AMI BIOS. So overall, I have to say I think my $20 I spent for this computer is was well worth it. Even if it is just a 486 DLC, it seems to be working pretty good. And I'll find my cache chips at some point and we'll try doubling the cache. I wonder if Doom will run any faster with more memory. If it does, it'll probably be simply because it was able to load more assets into RAM. I think Doom will run fine on a 4 megabyte machine, so this may not run that much faster. Oh, are these the. Oh, no, those are not the cache chips I was looking for. Those are cache chips that are even larger than this board supports. So those are not the ones I was looking for. Oh, wait, I see a tube of chips over here. Are they cache chips? Or are these gals? Ha! They're cache chips. I found the cache chips I was looking for. Actually, this is going to take a while to run. Let's see if we can't upgrade this cache real quick. Alright. According to the retro web, go to 128K of cache. I need to put 4 cache chips in bank 0, I believe. And the tag RAM needs to go into U7. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cache jumpers. Although it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them change. Alright. Let's see if we can do this real quick. Alright, let me. Alright, so these are the tag RAMs for 64K of cache that's on the board. If you need to remove them, they are 20 nanoseconds. I will double check the part numbers on these just to make sure they're not the larger Actually, let me check that now. Just to make sure they're not the larger memory chips I need for cache. These are MCM 62. I think they're 628. MCM 6288 PC. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a 16K by 4 static. Okay. Not the large ones I need for 256K. It does look like at some point someone had to replace a cache chip on this board potentially because it has one different brand than the rest. Although it could be the manufacturer just was using what they had and they had one of the one brand and 7 of the others. So probably could look at the date code to see if it was roughly about the same time the board was assembled. All right, so there we go. Oh, one of the cache somehow should be fine. It's in the wrong bank for what I'm doing, anyways. All right, so I need 5 of these cache chips. 3, 4, 5. Have used these before, so I'm fairly sure these are good cache chips. These are 12 nanoseconds, which is way overkill, but that's the speed I have. All right, so we need one. I think I've got some more of these somewhere that are 20 nanoseconds, so I'll may swap if this board is stable with 128K of cache. I probably will swap in 20s because I think 12 milliseconds maybe faster than this board can support. All right, so I do need to check all these jumpers here. So I think all these cache jumpers are here by the cache chips. They do look like they're fairly well labeled. So, all right, J26 needs to be on 2 and 3. Oh yeah, these are fairly decently labeled. So there we go. J27 needs to be closed, which it is already closed. J28 needs to be open, and it is open. J29 should be closed, and it should be closed. It is closed. All right, J33 is closed, but should be open now. All right, done. I need that jumper for elsewhere, so I went ahead and left it off. All right, J34 should be 1 and 2, and is 1 and 2. J35 is open and also needs to stay open. J36 is currently 2 and 3, but should be 1 and 2. All right. J37 is 2 and 3, but needs to be 1 and 2. J38 is 1 and 2, but needs to be 2 and 3. J39 is 1 and 2, but needs to be 2 and 3. J41 is open, but needs to be 1 and 2. And J52 is 1 and 2, but needs to be 2 and 3. All right. That should be rejumpered for cash. So, all right. Smoke test in 3, 2, 1. Run setup. And okay, that looks good. Kept those settings, more cache. Huh. I may have to check jumpers. All right, cache check. T. Oh, we have no cache. Did I put the memory in the wrong bank? There's definitely no cache detected. All right, let's double check here. All right, let's double check the jumpers. So J26. Two and 3. Alright. J27 should be closed. J28 should be open. J29 should be closed. J33 should be open. J34 should be 1 and 2. J35 should be open. J36 should be 1 and 2. J37 should be 1 and 2. J38 should be 2 and 3. J39 should be 2 and 3. J41 should be 1 and 2. J52 should be 2 and 3. Oh, I guess I should put these cache chips in a chip tester. Alright, let's see here. Device. No. SRAM. Standard SRAM. Actually, WinBond. Oh, I just realized something. Oh, never mind. Okay. So, the module I put in for Tagram appears to be good. Alright, let's test this one. That one tested fine. One of these wasn't in the socket. Alright, let me pull these all out. I'm testing them with my TL48. And I'm just going to make sure I didn't bend any pins. Okay, that one looks fine. Bent pins. Socket looks fine. It's entirely possible this board won't work with more than 64K of cache. I have Reseating these doesn't fix it, then I guess I'll pull out the retro chip tester. Oh. Like it was seated. Alright, maybe I had one that was not seated all the way. Maybe that's the problem. Alright. Also possible I didn't get my... Oh. Oh, no, wait. No, that's bank 0 for the the Sims. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is bank 0 for the cache. Because it's the lower... It's got the lower enumerated memory chips. Alright, I guess if it still doesn't detect the cache on this power up, I'll flip the... I'll flip which bank the SRAMs are in. Hey, Thomas, welcome. Finally home. Wow, minor hockey planning is exhausting. Alright, that... Mr. BIOS did not detect cache, because otherwise it would have... I think it would have printed it out. So, maybe... Maybe the diagram is wrong, and this is bank 0. It's also possible these chips are too fast. Alright. Oh. Nope, it does not see those cache chips. Alright, on a whim. I have 4 20 nanosecond chips. This is the last thing I'm going to try. If this doesn't work, we'll put the original cache chips back. So I'll leave the 12 nanosecond one in for the tag. Because I don't have... I only have 4 of these 20 nanosecond chips. So I'll leave the fast one in as the tag RAM. And then I'm going to put these slower ones in for the cache memory. That's just basically because. No, sure enough, no, it is. It does not see that cache. So either there's some incompatibility with these cache chips, even though they are seemingly the correct type, or the documentation I have is wrong in configuring that amount of cache, or it is quite possible that maybe it has the wrong tag RAM requirement. I don't know. We'll just have to go back to the original cache because it appears if this board is not going to let me upgrade it. Think of it. I had trouble with these. I had some sort of trouble with these cache chips the last time I tried to use them. But at the time, I didn't think they were bad. Funny thing is, they seem to test okay. But maybe I should run them through the retro chip tester. Not that it can test them at speed, but it can. I think it uses some slightly better patterns than the TL48 does. So, all right. Let's go and put the old chips back in. Slower. Oh no, that's a 25 nanosecond chip. Actually, all right, all right. Let's change the jumpers back to the way they were. All right. So J26 needs to go back to 1 and 2. J27 stays closed. J28 stays open. J29 stays closed. J33 should now be closed. All right. J34 stays 1 and 2. J35 stays open. J36 is now 2 and 3. J37 is now 2 and 3. J38 is now 1 and 2. J39 is now 1 and 2. J41 is now open. That's the jumper you saw me just pull. And J52 is 1 and 2 now. All right, there we go. And there we go. It is detecting that cache, so I'm going to restart it so I can skip the setup file. Okay, I think this controller card may be flaky because I keep losing that one COM port. Go. Good thing I checked that. Enable that cache because it was disabled from where it was absent. All right. And so if we do a cache check now, we should see that we have a level 2 cache. And we do. All right. The good news is I have restored the original cache configuration. The bad news is it would appear as if I don't have the correct settings for 128K cache. Although, let me go look at that Rectron board that looked identical. Let me see what its jumper manual says. Interesting. According to that Rectron board that looks almost the same as this a bit board, it does support 128K of cache, but it only uses those 64K by 4 and 16K by 4 tag rams. I wonder if the bit board actually needs 64K by 4 tag rams, even though the manual says it can use a 32K by 8. I'm wondering if the manual is wrong. Would not be the first time I've seen it. And that I actually just need to use the other tag rams. Although I may have to figure out a jumper. Because I have a feeling one of those cache jumpers is probably selecting which tag ram bank to use. But there we go. At least I have the original cache configuration restored. Now part of me does want to at least fix one little issue with this system if I can find the cache chips I had a moment ago. So the one issue I noticed on this board, it looks like one of the cache chips was replaced at one point. And whoever replaced it used a 25 nanosecond cache chip, whereas the rest of the cache chips are 20s. So I am going to, after putting this cache chip in the tester that I just pulled out of this box, I have, well, just dropped that one. So how about in just to be expedient with time, I'm going to grab another cache chip. It fell on the table, so I don't think there's any risk of me accidentally stepping on it. All right. So this 20 nanosecond cache chip tests fine. I'm going to take this 25 nanosecond one out. And this is just for my sanity only, in case I tweak cache settings. And at least I know all of the cache chips are 20 nanoseconds. All right. Now, I fully expect it's going to detect. There we go. It did detect the cache. We'll go into setup. Well, it sees that COM port again. All right. And I think it looks like. Great. I guess it looks like my cache chip swap is working fine. All right. So I guess it is time for me to draw the stream to a close. So what have we done to this board? Well, I removed the crusty keyboard connector. I'm not entirely convinced, though, that it was battery crusty, because we also removed the battery. All right, I guess there is a little bit of greenness on the battery, but anyways, we removed the battery. This battery actually had a 2.5 volt charge on it. In fact, it may actually still have 2.5 volts on it. So I was kind of actually surprised that it managed to take a charge from using the board. For anyone just joining. Oh. Well, maybe. Oh, yeah, it has 1.98 volts on it. Oh, I bet it discharged some because it was. I bet it discharged from my bench. Because I bet my bench is stainless steel and it probably was setting pins down. So, anyways, it probably discharged over the stream. But, anyways, this battery is going to be thrown out because it's garbage. So, the battery is out. New keyboard connector installed. No other damage that I saw. I upgraded it to 16 megabytes of RAM. At least for the time being. I may put the original 4 back in at some point. But for the moment, I've got some spare 4 megabyte sims, so I've got 16 megabytes of memory in it, and I'll put it back in the case later. In fact, maybe at the beginning of Thursday's stream, we might really quickly put the system back in its case. But really, the replacement keyboard connector was it. That's all I did. Tried to upgrade the cache. That didn't work. Oh, I guess I did replace that one 25 nanosecond cache chip with a 20 nanosecond one that I had on hand. So all the cache chips are now 20 nanoseconds. So it's a cool little system with the Cyrix 486 DLC. Anyways, time for me to draw the stream to an end. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss when I go live next. I'll figure out what I'm going to do on Thursday's stream. I have some Macintoshes that I think are waiting for me to start working on. So maybe Thursday's stream I might feel like a Macintosh stream. But we might start it by putting this computer back in its case. Unless I do that tomorrow night. Y'all have seen me put plenty of computers in cases. Anyways, like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Thank you all for hanging out with me in the chat, being cool, giving me some moral support, and otherwise being awesome. So have a great rest of your evening. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.